Ma-live ko na ga. Bao na charger ka?
Bagula.
Nakadto di. Kagina. Good evening. Mabatian niyo ko? Tunog man? Tunog man kay say? Tunog man? Tunog man kay say? Okay. So, ikaw palang isa? It's okay lang. Bida. Dali lang. Gid share ko lang gid para makita nanda sa may ano bala. Sa may group. General math. Okay, so good evening sa tanan. Shout out pa. Hello, Meljan. Okay, so good evening. It's not word of the day, though ano da, word of the night then. Okay, so word for thought. It's stated in Proverbs 13:20 that, okay, Meljan, shout out kay Meljan Libres dyan. Okay. Proverbs 13:20. It states that walk with wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. So, this Bible verse is related to our topic, which is about relations. Okay, relations and functions. So, when we speak about relations, hindi ni siya, ang sa mathia, it's not about relations with other people, like mga love life ni John, but okay, maybe you can connect this kind of relation later on pag abot sa inyo nga mga relationships. Yeah, charot. Okay, so let's continue. Relations and functions. Okay, so please open your math pack quarter 1 week 1A, and we will discuss about relations and functions. So, what is a relation? According to your module there, it is stated that it is any set of ordered pairs. So, ordered pairs. And it can also be a rule that relates the domain, which are the set of first coordinates of the ordered pair. Usually, we call this the value of x, and the range, which is the set of all second coordinates of the ordered pair. Usually, we call them the y values. So, the domain are the x values. Sometimes we call it input, and the range are the y values, and sometimes we call it output. So, this kind of relation is different sa aton ng mga personal relationships. However, ma-relate nyo gina siya karon sa kinds of relations. Okay, what is an ordered pair? It consists of two components, which is x, y. Okay, your x refers to the first element and y refers to the second element, where your x and y are real numbers. So when we speak real numbers, those are numbers from negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, so we have here an example of an ordered pair. We have 3, 2, 3 and 2 are real numbers. -5, 7, 9, -7. As you can see, they are separated by a comma and enclosed in a close and open parentheses. So that is how we write the ordered pair. So what are the kinds of relations? First kind of relation is one-to-one. It is the correspondence of one element in the domain to one element in the range. Try to observe this figure below. Okay, the domain has values 1, -3, 5. And 1 corresponds to 2 in range. Okay, -3 corresponds to 6 in range. And 5 corresponds to 4 in range. As you can see, there is one element in the domain that corresponds to one element in the range. So that is what we call one-to-one relationship. Next is one-to-many relationship. When we say one-to-many relationship, it is the correspondence of one element in the domain to many elements in the range. So, one domain but has many correspondence in the range. As you can see, bisan pa mag one-to-one from 1 to 2, we also have this value nga -3 to 4 and also -3 to 6. So as you can notice, -3 is only one value in the domain, but it corresponds with two other values on the range, which is 4 and 6. That is what we call one-to-many relationship. Okay, let's continue with the next one. Last one is many-to-one relationship. Actually, may ara pa nga many-to-many, but we will not touch it. So, many-to-one relationship. It is a correspondence of many elements in the domain to one element in the range. So, as you can see, even if we have 1 that corresponds to 2 in the range, we have here the values -3 and 5. It corresponds to only one value in the range, which is 4. This is what we call many-to-one relationship. So, what is a function? Ano naman yan si function? It is a special type of relation where each element in the domain is paired to the range only once. Take note of this word, only once, by some rule. And not all relations are functions. Okay, when we say not all relations are functions, no pareho man sa real life situations, hindi tanan nga relasyon naga-function. Okay? And so, which kind of relations are not considered as functions? Okay, for one-to-one. Let's go back to the definition. Hambal niya. It is a special type of relation where each element in the domain is paired to range only once. So, only once. If we have one-to-one relationship, if we have one domain which is paired to one range, it can be considered as a function. Though pareho man na nga if ang lalaki is the domain, kag babayi is the range. If one lalaki mangaluyag sa isa ka babayi, it has a possibility nga mag-function. So, one-to-one is a function. Next, let's proceed with one-to-many. Okay. One-to-many, it means that there is one in a domain that corresponds many in range. So, hambal ta kagina sa function, it corresponds to range only once. So, on this case, kapila siya mag-correspond sa range? Twice. So, since twice siya nag-correspond sa range, it could not be considered as function. Okay? So, one-to-many relationship could not be considered as function. Though pareho man na nga kung ang lalaki magpangaluyag sa duhagid ka babayi, tendency is wala gid sang masabat sa iya. So, it will not function. Okay, joke lang. Okay, let's proceed with the third relationship. many to one. Okay, many to one is there are many in the domain that corresponds only to one range. So if we go back to the definition, hambal niya, range paired to the range only ones. Okay, so bisan duha pa na kalalaki ang magpangaluyag sa isa ka babaye is still functions because that girl has the right to choose which to choose, whom to choose, like C -3 or C 5. Okay, so many to one relationship can still be considered as function. And isa pa gid, okay, basta 1 ang punta, 1 to 1, many to one, that can be considered as function. And one to many and many to many, of course, they could not be considered as function. Okay, let's continue. How do we represent functions? Okay, first, we can represent functions by ordered pair. So, ordered pair, we have here 2, 3, 4, 6, -1, 0. Okay, it can be considered as function. But what will happen if nagsulit siya? Instead of 4, nangin 2, inidi. Okay, if we have 2 here, it means that 2 corresponds to 3 and also 2 corresponds to 6. That will become one to many relationship. So, it could not be considered as function. Take note, when you look at the ordered pair, kag magsulit ang first element, then it is not a function. So take note of that. Let's continue. Another representation of function is as a table. So same thing here. We have 2 for the domain and 3 for the range, 4, 6, -1, 0. This one is considered as function because there is only one element in the domain that corresponds only to a unique or one element in the range. Okay, another one. To represent function, we can represent it as arrow or mapping diagram. So like this one. The domain is mapped to the range. Okay? So may arrow kita from the domain to the range. This one also represents a function. Next is by equation. Okay, as equation or formula. So this one can be considered as function. And there are cases nga hindi ito siya makonsidered nga function if ever nga there is square sign here. Why? Because if we find the square root of a number or a real number, it may either be positive or negative. So it means in every value of the domain, there will be 2 value of range kung may square root sign here. Okay, so therefore, it could not be considered as function. Next, as a set of ordered pairs. So, if ever we are given a function like this one, x squared plus 3x minus 5, if we put 1 here in the value of x squared, so 1 squared plus 3 times 1, we get 4 minus 5, the answer is -1. Okay, this one. And if we substitute 2 here, 2 squared is 4 plus 3 times 2, which is 6, that will become 10, minus 5, we get 5 here. Okay, so that is how we represent functions. And lastly, we can represent function as a graph. Okay, so just like this one is a constant function. Constant function because for every value of x, the answer will always be C or the range will always be C. So, on this case, whatever the value of this one, butang tabi 1.5, if f of x is equal to 1.5, so in all the values of x, bisan ano pa na siya, from negative infinity to positive infinity, the answer will always be 1.5. That's why this will be the picture of your graph. Next is the identity function. When we speak of identity function, f of x will equal to x. So if x is equal to 1, then y is equal to 1. If x is equal to 2, then, f of x is equal to 2. So this one is your identity function. The other one is squaring function or the quadratic function. This will be the graph. And for the cubic function, this will be the graph. So how are we going to identify if a graph is a function or not? It is by vertical line test. Magambal nga vertical line test, di ba ang line nga na siya nagapatindog? So, when a graph or when a vertical line passes the graph into 2 points, okay, therefore, it is not a function. Ma-function lang siya if a vertical line passes the graph at exactly 1 point. So, 1 point lang. Hindi pwede 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or and so on. So, 1 lang din. So, this can be considered as function. Okay? So, we have here our exercise 1. Okay, exercise 1 is express y equals x squared plus 2x plus 3 in values nga -4, 0, 4. Okay, so all we have to do is substitute the value of x. Wait lang, I will change my screen to paint. Okay. So, okay na. So, first is you have to substitute y equals x squared plus 2x plus 3. First quantity is -4. So, just substitute -4 squared plus 2 times -4 plus 3. Okay, so that is equal to 16 minus 8 plus 3. Nga, minus 8 because 2 times -4, the answer is -8. So, therefore, your y is equal to 8 minus 3, that is 5. Okay, next, we have 0. For x equals 0, so y equals 0 squared plus 2 times 0 plus 3. Okay, so that is y equals 3. And last one, for y equals 4, we have 4 squared plus 2 times 4 plus 3. Okay, so that is equal to 16 plus 8 plus 3. And so, your y is equal to 27. That would be the 3 values of y. Okay, so erison ko di anay. Let's put the values in a table. So, x kag y sa table lang anay ha. For the first value, we have -4 and your y is 5. If x is equal to 0, your y is 3. And if your x is equal to +4, your y is 27. Okay, this would be the representation of your function in table form. Okay, now, let's represent the function in other forms. So, lain-lain to ang kind of forms natin kagina. As discussed, we have according to table, according to ordered pair. Okay, if according to ordered pair, we can write it as -4, 5, 0, 3. and 4, 27. Okay, that is how we write it as an ordered pair. Next, how what are you going to do if you have to represent it through arrow diagram? This will be the value of your x, and this will be the value of your y. Then we have values, -4, 0, and +4. And the values of your y are 5, 3, and 27. So, mabutang lang ta arrow, -4 corresponds to 5, 0 corresponds to 3, and 4 corresponds to 27. Okay, so that's it. Ano pa? Through an equation or a formula. So, through an equation, we can write it as f of x or y, pwede man, equals, sige, y na lang, kay y nakasulat. Y equals x squared plus 2x plus 3. Next one is through a graph. Okay, so erase ko niya na yung iban. Let's make a graph of it. Okay, if this is your y-axis and this is your x-axis, let's have first your -4, 0, +4, and 4 maps to, butang tabi. Hindi na to. This is your, butang tabi sa babaw. This is your 5, +5. This is your +3. And 27. Kung i-extend mo pa na siya di, we have 27 here. Okay, so if we are going to graph that, we have 4, -4, 5, then 0, 3, okay, then we have 4, 27. Okay, it's there. So, what will happen to our graph? It will look like this one. Ang x-intercept when y is equal to 0, that is 3. When y is equal to 0, the x is equal to 3. 4. Okay, so, dali lang gid. Sala ang graph ta. Ang graph ta will pass here. Okay, so, find ta na ibe mag-graph kita. If we find your x-intercept, if y is equal to 0, if x is equal to 0, if y is equal to 0, then x is equal to x plus 2 kag x plus 1. So, x will equal to -2 and x equals to -1. So, 4 maagi sa -2, then maagi sa -1, passing 3, pababaw to 27. This will be the graph of your function. Actually, parabola na siya nagapayu. Pero ang drawing ko nagpa-V na because of tama kagamay nga drawing. So, that's it. That will be our answer for exercise 1. Okay, let's continue with the next given, the piecewise function. Basahon ko na lang ha. These are functions which are defined in different domains since they are determined by several equations. Okay, so ma-change kita. Ay, wala na ang PowerPoint out. Okay. So a piecewise function is a function which is defined in different domains since they are determined by several equations. That's why kagina sa classmate nyo nga namangkot regarding a piecewise function, it has different domain. And I told them that it is depending on the different kinds of situation. So we have here an example. A user is charged 2,000 pesos monthly for a mobile plan which includes an iPhone 6S Plus, unlimited same network text, 16 gig data allowance monthly, and 100 texts to other networks. Messages in excess of 100 are charged 1 peso. So represent the monthly cost for text messaging. Take note, text messaging only using the function T of M. So you will notice that the person will pay or the user will pay only 2,000 for 100 messages. So that is why we have used a piecewise function because this equation is conditional. We have conditions to follow. So, mabutang kita this, ang braces, a bracket, okay, for each 2,000 messages, the answer will be 2,000 or the payment will be 2,000 if the number of messages is from 0 to 100. Okay, that's why from 0 to M, whatever the value of M is, and for messages nga equal to 100. But if M becomes greater than 100 and it is stated that per M or per message, the user will be charged 1 peso. That is why M will become 1 if there is 101 in excess. Okay? So, mahimo siya nga 2 if messages nga excess are 2. So, depende sa value of M. That will be 2,000 plus M in excess of 100 messages. That is what we call a piecewise function. So, let's continue with the exercise. Okay. Cadbury 9 chocolate bars cost 12 pesos per piece. However, if you buy more than 20 pieces, they will be marked down to a price of 10 peso per piece. Use a piecewise function to represent the cost in terms of numbers of chocolate bars. Okay, so let's proceed to the paint. Okay, our given is 12 peso per piece. Okay, so the function of x, where x is the number of pieces of Cadbury bar or chocolate de lang. Chocolate. Kabudlay, gid yakon mouse na gamit. Okay. Number of pieces of chocolate. So, we have this condition that if you buy less than 20 pieces, so the value will be 12 pesos. Meaning, 12 pesos times number of chocolate bars if x, okay, if x is greater than 0 and less than 20. Nga away ko nagbutang sang or equal 20. Because if we reach 20 pieces, the price will be marked down. How much will be the price? It will be 10 peso per piece. So it will be 10x if x is greater than or equal to 20 pesos. This will be the representation of the piecewise function in your exercise. Okay? So let's proceed to the enrichment activity. Okay. Enrichment activity states that number 1, number 1, a person is earning 390 pesos per day to do a certain job. Express the total salary as a function of the total salary as a function of the number of n days that the person works. Okay, so every time nga mag-work gani kita, as we know, number of days times the salary per day. So that is, pila to ang iya nga, she is paid as, the person is paid as 390 per day. And we have to express it as a function S. That will be S of n equals 390 multiplied by n. That will be the representation of the function in number 1. Okay? So let's continue with the question number 2. Question number 2 states that a taxi ride costs 40 pesos as plug down rate in each additional meter. Sorry. A taxi ride costs 40 pesos as plug down rate. And each additional meter adds 4 peso to the fare. Okay? Use a function to represent the taxi fare in terms of distance in meters. Okay? Each additional meter has 4 peso. Okay, so pagsaka, mga daan sa taxi, when you ride a taxi at the start of the point, you already have to pay 40 pesos out of it. So it means that 40 pesos is already there when you ride a taxi and there will be 4 pesos per meter. Okay. This will be the representation of the function. It's like 40 peso flag down, and depending on the number of meters that you'll take, you will multiply it with 4 peso. This will be your function. The function of m will be equal to 40 plus 4m, where m is equal to the distance in meters. Agantahan nyo lang anay agi ko since I still don't have a writing tablet. I hope it will arrive sooner so that next week when we discuss, okay na siya. Hapos namin na nga ako ng agi. Okay. Tapos na kita with our enrichment activity. Let's continue with our okay, we are done with quarter 1, week 1A. Let's continue with week 1B. Okay, it is about evaluation of functions. Okay, when we say evaluation of functions, just like this one, in the notation f of x, it is stressed that if f is name of the function and f of x is the value of f at x, if y is the value of f at x or y equals f of x, x is called the independent variable since any element of the domain can replace it. And y is called the dependent variable because its value depends on the value of the independent variable x. To evaluate functions, just replace all the values of x in the equation and simplify. Diri na lang ta ma-focus sa punta. To evaluate functions, just replace all the values of x. So, at this point, you only have to replace the value of x. So let's do our activity now. Okay, so we have f of x equals 2x minus 3. So first, number 1, find f of 0. Okay, so all we have to do is substitute x with 0. It means we have 2 times 0 minus 3. So our answer will be negative 3 because this one will become 0. Let's continue. Number 2, we have f of 5. So all we have to do is substitute the value of x by 5 minus 3 equals 2 times 5 equals 10 minus 3, we get 7. Okay, let's proceed to number 3, f of negative 1. All you have to do is substitute x with negative 1. So instead of 2x, we have 2 times negative 1 minus 3. So 2 times negative 1, the answer is negative 2 minus 3. So therefore, your final answer on this number is negative 5. Okay, let's proceed to number 4. Number 4 is f of 0.05. Okay, so that is 2 times 0.05 minus 3. But 2 times 0.05 is equal to 1. So that is 1 minus 3. And simply, the answer is negative 2. If we have f of m, all we have to do is substitute m instead of x. So it becomes 2m minus 3. Next, if f of x minus 1. So all we have to do is substitute x minus 1 to x. So we have 2 times x minus 1 minus 3. 2 times x minus 1 is 2x minus 2. Then copy your negative 3 sa punta. So our final answer will be 2x minus 5. Okay, let's continue with the next given. Okay, that is f of x squared. So, we have 2. Instead of x, islanta lang kay x squared minus 3. And last one, f of x squared minus 1. So, instead of putting 2 times x squared minus 1. Okay, instead of x, islanta kay x squared minus 1. So, our final answer will be 2x squared minus 2 minus 3, or that is 2x squared minus 5. Okay, that is for evaluation of function. Okay, so we have here the exercises. Let's answer this. Okay, if we have g of x equals x minus 3, find g of x when x equals 3. So all you have to do is substitute 3 instead of x. So 3 minus 3, the answer will become 0. Okay, let's proceed to the next given. H of x is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 5. And find h of x when x equals negative 5. So all you have to do is substitute negative 5 in every value of x. Okay. So, negative 5 na ni siya di. Negative 5 man ni siya di. So, negative 5 times negative 5, the answer is positive 25. Minus 3 or negative 3 times negative 5, the answer is positive 15 plus 5. Okay, so our final answer will be 25 plus 15 is 40 plus 5, we get 25. That will be the answer for number 2. Okay, so let's continue with number 3. Number 3 is I of x is equal to x squared minus 1 all over x minus 1. Okay, so substitute instead of x squared, you have to write 0.6 squared minus 1 over negative 0.6 minus 1. But 0.6 squared times 0.6 squared, negative times negative, we have positive 0.36 minus 1 all over negative 0.6 minus 1, that is negative 1.6. Okay, so if we solve that, 0.36 minus 1, that is negative 0.64 over negative 1.6. But we know that negative divided by negative, the answer will be positive. So that is 0.64 over 1.6. So if you are going to reduce that into lowest term, pwede man siya gihapon ma-reduce. That can be, divide mo siya sa 4. Divide mo siya sa 4. So this will become 0.08. 16 divided by 4 is 0.4. Okay, 1.6 divided by 4 is 0.4. Actually, pwede pag siya gali ma-reduce. Divide mo both sides by 4. So that can be 0.02 over 0.1. Okay, 0.02 divided by 0.1. The answer is, ari na lang, tanigin diretso ta na lang solve. Okay, pwede man dia. Okay, 0.1, move 1 decimal place to the right, and move 1 decimal place to the right. So the answer is, final answer will be 0.2. That will be the answer for number 3. Okay. Let's continue. Kung dasig, lihog lang screenshot para nga hapos sa inyo. Okay, next is j of x equals x cubed minus 8 all over x minus 2. When x is equal to a plus b. Wow. So just substitute a plus b to the value of x. Okay, so start na ta. A plus b times a plus b times a plus b minus 8 over a plus b minus 2. Okay, solve ta si a plus b cubed. That becomes a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Ouch, hindi na magigo. Plus b squared times a plus b. Tapos, minus 8. Okay, minus 8. Sugpo niya pa na. All over a plus b minus 2. So, isugpon tadi. So, what will be our answer? A squared times a equals a cube plus 2ab times a, that's 2a squared b. B squared times a, that's a b squared. Then, a squared times b is equal to a squared b. 2ab times b is equal to 2ab squared. Okay, 2ab times b. And b squared times b, that becomes b cubed. Then copy your minus 8 sa punta. All over a plus b minus 2. So, what are we going to do? We can have these two terms combined. 2ab squared and ab squared. Because they are similar terms. Okay, so, amo lang na silang may similar terms. So, therefore, our answer will be a cube plus 2a squared b. Ari, i-combine ta. That becomes 3. Ouch. That becomes, ano naman? That becomes 3ab squared na. Then, a squared b, madula na ni, kaya combine na to sa 3, plus b cubed minus 8. And the denominator will be a plus b minus 2. That will be the answer for number 4. And let's continue to number 5. Okay, number 5 is k of x equals x to the 4th minus 2x squared plus 2 when x is equal to x squared. So it means that we have x squared raised to 4 minus 2 times x squared raised to 2 plus 2. Okay, so that will become x raised to 8 minus, this one will be x raised to 4. X raised to 4 times negative 2, that's negative 2x raised to 4 plus 2. That will be the answer for number 5. Okay, for evaluation of functions. Okay, so let's continue with the other example. Okay, the velocity of a ball thrown upward after time t seconds is given by v of t equals 20 minus 9.8 t. Okay, what is the velocity of the ball after 1 second and after 2 seconds? So, given that RT is in seconds, so 1 second will mabutang kita di 1, and for 2 seconds, we have to substitute 2. So, let's have our solution. The given equation is v of t is equal to 20 minus 9.8t. Okay, at this point, we have to substitute 1 in order to find the velocity of the ball after 1 second. So V of 1 is equal to 20 minus 9.8 times 1. And we know that 9.8 times 1 is also 9.8. So therefore, V of 1 is equal to 20 minus 9.8. And that is 10.2. Okay, let's try to solve for V of 2. That's for 2 seconds. So we have 20 minus 9.8 times 2 seconds. So that is 20 minus 9.8 plus 9.8 is 19.6. And therefore, the velocity after 2 seconds will be 0.4. Okay, so that will be the velocity after 2 seconds. Okay, let's proceed to exercise 2. Okay, exercise 2, number 1 states that the profit made by a manufacturing company producing bags is given by the function f of x equals 3x plus 250, where x is the number of bags sold. How much is the profit of the company if they sold 300 pieces of bags, and how many bags are produced if they have a profit of 2,014 pesos? Okay, so in that case, we have to give 2 answers on this. Okay, the given is function f of x equals 3x plus 250. Okay, so first question is, how much is the profit of the company if they sold 300 pieces of bags? So it means that we have to use x equals 300. So substitute 3 times 300 plus 250. That will be the profit. Okay. So 900 plus 250, and therefore f of x is equal to 1,150. This will be the profit if they sold 300 bags. Okay? Screenshot lang please para nga makita nyo ang answers. And next one, what if they have a profit of 2014? Okay. How many bags were sold? Were produced? So, that is 2014 equals 3x plus 250. On this case, we are looking for the value of x. Okay, using your APE or addition property of subtraction property of equality. Actually, addition property of equality na sang negative 250. And also negative 250 here. So, si negative 250 plus 250 will become 0. And so, 2014 minus 250 will be 764 equals 3x. Okay, so let's divide 764 by 3. Okay, divide both sides by 3 in order to find x. So 764 divide by 3. We get 2, 6, 16. We have 5. 5 times 3, we get 15. Oh, sorry. Ano man. Okay, 14 divide 3. we get 4. Okay, 4 over 12 may 20. Kung mag-20 ang remainder, that is 554.88888. Since wala man bag nga santo nga, wala man bag nga per 8, so therefore, the answer will be 255. Let's just round it off para ma-meet ta ang profit nga 2014. Okay, so approximately that will be 255 bags for exercise 2. Okay, so let's proceed to the enrichment activity. Okay, for the enrichment activity, let's solve. F of x equals x cubed plus x squared plus 3x minus 12. Okay, so all you have to do is solve for f of 3. So for f of 3, diretsohan ta ha, 3 cubed is 27 plus 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3 is also 9 minus 12. So that is equal to 27 plus 9 is 36 plus 9 is 45 minus 12. The answer is 45 minus 12. That's 33. Next is f of 7. So substitute 7 in the equation. We have 7 times 7 times 7. That is 343 plus 7 squared, which is 49, plus 3 times 7, which is 21, minus 12. So the answer is 343 minus 49 plus, 343 plus 49 plus 21 minus 12. The answer is 401. Okay, so that will be the answer for f of 7. Let's proceed to f of x squared minus 1. Okay, f of x squared minus 1. So, ma-x cube siya. Goodness. You are going to solve x squared minus 1 cube plus x squared minus 1 squared plus 3 times x squared minus 1 minus 12. Okay. So, bilhin ko na lang ni sa inyo to solve. Okay, please solve that one and put on your paper. Medyo malawig din siya. Okay, and f of x plus 1 also. Please solve that. As long nga balaan nyo mag-substitute, balaan nyo na mag-solve. Okay. And also, question is f of x plus 1 the same as f of x minus 2? Okay, please try to solve that sa letter B and explain if they are the same or not. Okay, and also, Number 2, ML Computer Shop charges 30 per hour for a fraction of an hour. Okay. ML Computer Shop, dali lang yun. ML Computer Shop charges 30 per hour or a fraction of an hour for the first 2 hours and additional of 15 pesos per hour for each succeeding hour. Find how much would you pay if you used one of their computers for 45 minutes. Okay. First 2 hours, 30 per hour. And after that, there will be an additional of 15 peso per hour. Okay. What if you used for 45 minutes? Syempre, hambal niya, that's 30 pesos per hour or a fraction of it. Since 45 minutes is a fraction of it, I think you already know how much will you pay if you get 45 minutes. Next is 4 hours. For 4 hours, diba, for first 2 hours, that's only 30 pesos. So for the first 2 hours, you already have 60 pesos and you'll pay 15 pesos for the succeeding hour. Okay? So 2 hours of 30 pesos plus 2 hours of 15 pesos. And another one is 155 minutes. 155 minutes can be considered as 2 hours and 35 minutes. Okay? So, hasta pati a fraction of. So, 2 hours is 30 pesos. And also, you have the exceeding 35 minutes. So, an hour or a fraction of it is 50 pesos after 2 hours. 15 pesos after 2 hours. So, how much is that? 30 plus 30 plus 15. Okay? So, kamo na bahala magbutang sang inyong answer with B. Okay? Congratulations! We are done with quarter 1, week 1, B. Okay? So, it's already 8:36. Let's continue with operations and functions. Okay, kung natuyo na kamo, pwede man kamo katulog, and you can continue it tomorrow. Pwede nyo man ma-forward ang ini nga video. Okay, so let us now proceed to operations and functions. Okay, additions of functions is just simple as adding as f of x and g of x. Subtraction is just like subtracting f of x minus g of x. Multiplication is just like simple multiplications of two polynomial, the f of x multiplied by g of x. With division also, that's f of x divided by g of x. And the composition of function. Okay, composite function. We have to put the value of g of x inside the value of f of x. So it's just like evaluation of functions. However, instead of x of your f of x, you put the value of g of x. So, amo lang muna ang composition of functions. So, we have here an example. 3x squared minus 4x plus 5 as your f of x, and g of x is 2x cubed plus 6x minus 2. So, please find f plus g of x. So, f plus g of x is, si f of x natin is 3x squared minus 4x plus 5. Plus our g of x, which is 2x cubed plus 6x minus 2. Okay, so if we are going to find the value of that, we'll have 3x squared plus, we don't have common term with 3x squared. So, ma-start kita with cube, 2x cubed plus 3x squared Okay, we cannot combine them with anyone here because they don't have the same value. So we only have negative 4x plus 6x. Okay, so negative 4x plus 6x will become positive 2x, and 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. That will be the answer for number 1 example. Let's proceed to the difference of functions. Okay, what's the difference between addition and subtraction? In subtraction of functions, you only have to change the sign of the subtrahend. This is the thing that you really have to take note. You have to change the sign of the subtrahend. Okay, so on your example, we have 6x squared minus 14x plus 3 minus the g of x, which is 2x squared plus 6x minus 2. So, ma-change kita sang sign sa aton nga subtrahend. So, from positive 2, it becomes negative 2. From positive 6, it becomes negative 6. And from negative 2, that becomes positive 2. And also proceed to the operation of addition. So, that's the simple process when you subtract functions. Just change the sign of the second function and add them. So, if you add them, your answer will be, duha ka may x squared, no? 6x squared minus 2x squared. That becomes 4x squared. Next, negative 14x minus 6x. So, utang is 14 plus utang of 6. We get a total utang of 20x. And 3 plus 2, the answer is 5. So, therefore, our final answer will be 4x squared minus 20x plus 5. Okay, let's proceed to multiplication. Okay, so when we multiply functions, we simply multiply the two values. Your f of x, which is this one, plus your g of x, which is x squared minus 2x. So, mamultiply lang kita. Let's start with the first. 2x squared times x squared. The answer will be 2x to the fourth. Then, 2x squared times negative 2x. The answer is, the answer is negative 4x cubed. Next, 3 times x squared is positive 3x squared. And last one, 3 times negative 2x is negative 6x. Okay, we cannot do anything out of it because they don't have similar terms, so that will be our final answer. And for the quotient, okay, for the quotient, we have to divide two quantities. So if our f of x is 4x squared minus 1, that's over to 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. Okay, we have to take note that we have to factor out the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so if we are going to factor out this one, this numerator is a square, a difference of two squares. And so, the difference of two squares has the answer nga, square root of 4, that is 2x. Square root of 1 is 1. So that's 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. Okay, take note that 4x squared is a square of 2x and 1 is a square of 1. When you see an expression having this one, nga may minus sa to nga, it means that that is the difference of two squares. So this will be the pattern for your factors. 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 1. And on this case, the factors will be, okay, factors of 2x squared are 2x and 2x. 2x and x. 2x times x, that becomes 2x squared. And factors of 1, 3x plus 1. Factors of 1 is 1 times 1. So 1 times 1. Let's try to check if we'll have 3x in the middle term. 1 times x, that becomes 1x. 2 times 1, that becomes 2x. And they have a total of 3x. Okay, after factoring out, so first step in division is you have to factor them out and cancel common terms. So what will we cancel here? That's 2x plus 1 and 2x plus 1. Therefore, the final answer will be the quantities that are left. That is 2x minus 1 all over x plus 1. That will be the answer for division. And for composition of functions, you only have to put the value of g of x inside the x of your f of x. Or just substitute g of x to the value of x in your f of x. So, we have 4x squared minus 5x. But if you compose that function with x plus 1, which is your g of x, that becomes 4 times x plus 1 minus 5, sorry, may squared pagalit. X plus 1 squared minus 5 times x plus 1. Okay, so you can solve that. That becomes 4 times x squared plus 2x plus 1. That will be the answer for this one. And minus 5x. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Okay, so that is 4x squared plus 8x plus 4 minus 5x minus 5. So combine like terms, so you will get your final answer. So we have 4x squared, 8x minus 5x, that's 3x. And 4 minus 5, that's negative 1. So we have 4x squared plus 3x minus 1. Okay, that will be for the composition of functions. And next is g of f of x. Okay. So instead of g of x ang isulod ta, we have to put the value of f of x inside the g of x. So g of x is x plus 1. But we have to change x with the value of f of x, which is 4x squared minus 5x. So that is 4, minus 5x, then plus 1. So this will be your final answer because you only have to substitute 4x squared minus 5x, then copy your plus 1. Okay, so let's proceed to the exercises. Your given is 2x squared minus x minus 1 and g of x is 4x squared minus 1. So first is we have to find f plus g of x. So that is 2x squared minus x minus 1. This is your f of x plus 4x squared minus 1. Okay, so our answer will be 2x squared plus 4x squared is 6x squared. Then minus x has no other terms in common, and negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. This will be the answer for letter A. What if we have f minus g of x? Okay, so take note that we have to change the sign of your subtrahend in order to find subtraction of f minus g. So 2x squared minus x minus 1. Your positive 4 will be negative 4, and your negative 1, 4x squared, and your negative 1 will be positive 1. That will become 2x squared minus 4x squared is negative 2x squared minus x and plus 0. Okay, since 0 na siya, we don't have to solve it again. Okay, so the final answer will be 2x squared minus x. Okay, let's proceed to f times g. F times g of x. So, we have 2x squared minus x minus 1 multiplied by 4x squared minus 1. So this one is equal to 2x squared times 4x squared. We have 8x to the fourth. 2x squared times negative 1 is negative 2x squared. Negative x times negative 4x, negative x times 4x squared is negative 4x cubed. Negative x times negative 1, that becomes positive x. Negative 1 times 4x squared, it's negative 4x squared. And negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So all you have to do is combine these terms. And so our final answer will be 8x to the fourth minus 6x squared. Oh, sorry, minus 4x cubed minus 6x to the fourth, okay, plus x plus 1. Okay, that will be the answer for f times g of x. Okay, for f over g, okay, that will be the value of your f, nga 2x squared minus x minus 1 all over 4x squared minus 1. So, take note that we have to factor out each. So, may muna siya nga 2x plus 1 times x minus 1. Okay, and the factored form of the other one here is the 2x minus 1 and 2x plus 1. Okay, cancel those terms that are equal. So 2x plus 1 and 2x plus 1 can be cancelled. Our final answer will be x minus 1 all over 2x minus 1. Okay, that will be the answer for your letter D. Let's continue with our letter E. F circle G. Okay, so our F is 2x squared minus x minus 1. But we have to put G inside it. So we have 2 times 4x squared minus 1 minus 4x squared minus 1 minus 1. So therefore, we have 2 times 4x squared minus 1. The answer is 16x to the fourth minus 8x squared plus 1. Okay. Then you have to change the sign of this because we are referring to subtraction. So minus 4x squared plus 1. Okay, this plus 1 and plus 1. Okay, so we can have 2 times 16, we have 32. X to the fourth. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. X squared. 2 times 1 is 2. Minus 4x squared. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So we can have our final answer as 32x to the fourth. 16 and minus 4 is negative 20x squared. And 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. This will be our answer for letter E. Okay. And after letter E, we also have our letter F. Letter F is G circle F. So our G is 4x squared minus 1. But instead of that, for x, substitute natin ang aton nga f of x. 2x squared minus x minus 1. If we square this, we'll get 9 terms. Okay, minus 1. So this is our x, then minus 1. Okay, so mas-square, anay kita. That's 4 times 2x squared times 2x squared is 4x to the fourth. 2x squared times negative x is negative 2x squared. 2x squared times negative 1 is negative 2x. Ay, 2x squared. 2x cubed ni siyang isa. 2x squared times negative x is negative 2x cubed, and 2x squared times negative 1 is negative 2x squared. Let's proceed with this. Negative x times 2x squared, we have negative 2x squared. Negative x times negative x, we have positive x squared. And negative x times negative 1, we have positive x. And we have 1, 2, sa negative 1 naman. Negative 1 times 2x, we have negative 2x squared. Then, isugpon ko lang sa daluma. Negative 1 times negative x equals positive x. And negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Okay, so that is for 4 times all of this and copy minus 1. Okay, so let's combine like terms na lang muna. 4 times 4x to the fourth, the answer is 16x to the fourth. Okay, so let's combine may tanan nga may x cubed. So, isa lang siya. Negative 2x cubed times 4 is negative 12x cubed. So, sa may squared, negative 2x squared plus negative 2x squared becomes negative 4x squared. Plus 1x squared, that becomes negative 3x squared. Minus 2x squared, that becomes negative 5x squared. Okay, let's combine all the x's. X plus x, that becomes 2x. And lastly, we have 1. Ay, sorry. Wait. It's wrong. Multiply pa kita gali kay 4. Okay. 4 times, ano to kagina? 4 times 2 minus 2 is negative 4, negative 3, Negative 5 times 4, that's negative 20x squared. Tapos, also, x plus x is 2x times 4, that's 8x. And also, we have 1 here. 1 times 4 is plus 4, positive 4. And we have minus 1 here. Okay, so 4 minus 1, the answer will be 3. Okay, so this will be the final answer for letter F. Okay, for enrichment activity, I think kaya nyo na yan. Just do what I was doing. And let's proceed to the problem solving. Okay, for problem solving, hindi na ako maghalin isang slide ha. Okay, all you have to do is understand the problem. So, choose what is asked. Then make a plan out of the given. Number 3, solve the problem and look back to check if your answer is correct. So, let's proceed to the exercise at the back of your module. The fastest Mayon volcano lava flow moved at an average speed of 6 miles per hour. Okay, the function of f of x equals 6x because 6 miles per hour, where x represents the number of hours. So use the graph to estimate how many miles the lava moved after 5.5 hours. Okay, take note that it states that you have to use the graph to estimate how many miles. And it's asking how many hours will the nearest town be reached by the lava flow when it is 10 miles away from the volcano. Okay, so let's start first with the first question. So, madrawing gid taya. We have to draw that 6 miles, number of miles. That's number of hours. Okay, so this is y-axis. This is x-axis. Okay, change na lang ha ang miles kag hours para mag-igo. Okay, this is for number of hours. This is for miles. Okay, so 6 miles per hour. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6. Okay, so 6 miles, 12, 18, 24, etc. So we are looking for 5.5 hours. Okay, 36. Okay, 5.5 hours. If this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably your 5.5 hours will be here on this part. So 5.5 times 6, the answer is 33. So it's here. So this will be your graph. When we have 5, we get 30. When we have 4, we get 24. When we have 18, we get 3. When we have 2 hours, we get 12. And when we have 1 hour, we get 6. So, kung tadlong lang tani ang ako nga pang drawing, tadlong man na siya di. Okay. So, after 5 hours, it will be here. So, drawing mo. Okay. And how many hours will the nearest town be reached by the lava flow when it is 10 miles away from the volcano? So if it is 10 miles away, probably it's here. mga 10. So, how many hours was that? So, 10 is equal to 6 miles per hour. Divide both sides by 6. So, that is x equals 10 divided 6 is 1 and 4/6 or 1 and 2/3 hours. How much is 1 and 2/3 hours? 2 parts of 3. If you divide 60 minutes with 3, we got 20 minutes in each unit. So 20 times 2, we get 40. So that is 1 hour and 40 minutes. In 1 hour and 40 minutes, it will reach 10 miles. Okay, so that's it for our exercise. Let's proceed to the enrichment activity. I will answer only number 1 and you have to answer your number 2. Light travels about 186,000 miles per second. The rule is D equals distance equals 186,000 D. Okay, describe the relationship between the distance D in miles and time in seconds. How far does light travel in 20 seconds? So D is equal to 186,000 times t in seconds, which is 20 seconds. Okay, so that is for question letter A. Please solve that. And for question letter B, we have 1 minute. So D is equal to 186,000 multiplied by 1 minute. How many seconds is 1 minute? That is 60. So multiply your 186,000 by 60 in order to find how far does the light has traveled in 1 minute. Okay? And for number 2, you can make your own answer for that. It's somewhat related to our exercise. Okay, thank you, Gid, for being with me tonight. Medyo makapoy man magamit sang mouse. And I hope that you have learned something from me. Okay, 764. Ay, Ricelyn. Sorry, din to nga part. Ang 1,764. Hindi ko makita kay dito ko gasalat sa paint. Ricelyn, diin ayun ang ang 1764. Please comment down para ma-correct na naton. 764. Diin nga part. Diin to nga part ang may sala ta. 764 ang 1764. Wala na. Okay na? Do you have any question? Do you have any question pa? Any question? Ricelyn, diin to ayun. Ang may sala nga 764 kag 1764. Hindi ko na matandaan, actually. Kung diin nga part, kaya nagsigi-sige ko discuss. Or, please PM me. Please PM me kung ano na siya para nga ma-check ko. Or, you can picture sa imong answer. Ricelyn? May mga questions pa. Do you still have questions? Pwede nyo mahambal ang like week 1A, week 1B, week 1C exercise. Amon siya, number amon siya. If you have questions, so we could discuss it again. Or if you don't have questions, matulog kita. Gabi na. It's already 9 o'clock. So, turog na ta. Anyone? Sabat bi ka mo dyan, anay? Some of your classmates are texting me. So, ano pa? Is there any question? So if there is none, let us sleep. Good night, everyone, and thank you for watching. And I hope nakahelp with ako kaninyo for answering your module. Some people may ask siguro, why is it that I have revealed all the answers in the exercises? Actually, if not all, most of the answers in the exercises, because we are also advised to give you the copy of the answer key. So same thing will happen, that you will have a sneak peek of that answer key. So it's better that I discuss it to you before you see that answer key, because this time nga nag-answer ka mo sang module, the only point of our school here and the Department of Education is to help you learn during this time of pandemic. So it's not about competition nga dapat si Kwan gid mataas or whatever. Of course, there is still a competition when I give you exams. But for the activities, it is your formative tests. So it will be recorded, but not that graded, because I will give you another set of exams that will reflect your grades. So more of the answers on your modules will be reflected in your performance. Lain man niya ang mga summative tests. Okay, so I hope that you have learned a lot from me, because what you are learning from this discussion ma-reflect nyo if your answer is correct or not. And later on, you can apply that when we have our exams na. Okay? So, Ricelyn, ano na to ang question mo? Wala na siguro si Ricelyn. Anyone who still have questions? Sorry, gid hindi ko gid makita ang comments niyo if ever magkuan. Kulang akong monitor. Okay, so if there is no question anymore, matulog na ta. Good night, everyone, and I hope you learned a lot from me. Thank you for being with me sa 5 ka bilog nga nagalantaw da. Okay, thank you so much. Bye!